Good morning. Now, as you guys know, I always say follow your passion. Try things that you're interested in because you never know what's going to work or what you're actually going to enjoy. And upon reflection last night of my own journey and my own existence and my own pathways that I'm following, I sort of started reflecting on ideas that I'd had over the last 10 years and things that I'd tried but didn't execute properly or didn't get the time to get done, and started thinking myself, started taking my own advice, and thinking myself about what is something that I would lay down at 90 and regret not really giving it a red hot go. And the more I thought of it, the more I came to my conclusion, which is my true passion. My true passion that I've done for 30 odd years. And as you guys know, the OGs of this channel, I love Chicago Bulls. I love talking about Chicago Bulls players, NBA players. It's something I've done for a very long time. And part of that has been my memorabilia collection. And specifically, my card collection. Now, I've been collecting cards for 30 plus years. Memorabilia the same. I have an entire room full of signed Chicago Bulls basketballs, jerseys, hats, shoes, game worn shoes, Chicago Bulls anniversary memorabilia, player awards, signed baseballs from Chicago players from when they get to throw the first pitch. It's weird that I think about it now, but it's what I truly love doing. And my two sons always ask me all the time to go through my card collection, and they obviously collect cards as well now, and that's it. They're getting right into it. But as I go through my collection, I have boxes and boxes and boxes, stacks of boxes, full of NBA cards. Now, some are just, when it comes to card collecting, you can either chase the trend or you can chase what you want to chase. And sometimes a collection can form part of your collection, which is your PC, is what they call it, your personal collection. And the cards that fall into that collection don't need to be of value. They can mean, what they can be to you is they can mean a certain feeling of a certain time, of a certain place, from a certain player. And when you pull that card out in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it holds a special place and a special memory to you. And I have a stack of cards like that I can remember the exact game, time, place, or I can remember the situation that I was in to buy that card. I can tell you the exact time I bought my first signed LeBron James card or signed Michael Jordan card, and I have heaps of these things now. And upon reflection, that is my true passion. As you can tell, I could talk about this for hours. And I could talk about the history of Chicago and players of Chicago and the cards that I have and the times that reflected, and I could go on forever. Now, I don't have a lot from my childhood because my parents passed when I was very, very young. But what I do have from my childhood, because I moved out of home I was sort of not moved out of home, but I was by myself at 15. Had to get a job and pay rent, and away I went. But the memories that I have from that, I've continued to carry one box with me. I've continued to carry just one box my entire life. And it's not baby photos or things from my childhood. What it is a full box of NBA magazines. Can you believe it? A full box. Now, that box is not light, as you can imagine. Magazines, for those of us who are older than 25 or 30, magazines were the go-to source for your news or what your passion was. If you're into flying planes, you had to go buy a magazine and read up to date on what was going on. So NBA was no different. You had to go get a magazine, and that was your way of keeping up to date with what was going on. And I have boxes of these things, and I've carried them with me throughout my entire life. Every house that I've moved in, every relationship I've been in, every situation I've been in, every town I've moved to, city, I've carried this box with me. And I can't stop thinking about that. That connection of the items in that box take me back to a place when I was 15, 16 years old, watching NBA, collecting cards, and for some reason I've carried that box my entire life. 30 years. 30 years I've carried that box. And there has to be a reason I've done that, because that takes me back to a place where I was comfortable when I was in my teens. That was my go-to. That was where I felt community, felt passion, and upon reflection, I think it made me feel like these players were doing things that not anyone could do, that they were applying themselves and putting themselves in a position to be excellent. And subconsciously, I think it was teaching me that you can be whatever you want if you put your mind to it and put the work in. And like every kid, I then had dreams of being an NBA player, but my size, height, and skill did not match that dream. But what it did do is it gave me a passion for the sport, the collectibles market, and over my years I've grown that passion. And what I'm sort of getting to is sharing that passion. Because if you can share that passion, you'll find like-minded people. Now, this is not only in my story, but in also your story as well. If you have a passion, and it's important that you go for it. Give it everything you got. Share it, find community, discuss it, and you may be able to create a business out of it one day. But when it comes to collecting cards or memorabilia, the one thing that resonates with me is I never forget where I was, what I was doing when I held that piece. When I held that piece of memorabilia, I could tell you exactly what was going on. And I want that feeling for everybody else that is in the collectibles market. So I think what I'm going to do, which has been my dream all along for this channel, is to give away my collection. Now, there are pieces that I won't give away. I'll give to my kids, of course. But what I'd like to do is give you, if you're interested in memorabilia and Chicago Bulls or collectibles or NBA, is give you the opportunity to have pieces of memorabilia worth tens of thousands of dollars and give that to you and put you in a position to be able to get one of those pieces that you may not be able to be in a position to get. You know, not everyone can buy a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 piece of memorabilia. It's not easy to do. I've been very lucky that because I've held a lot of my stuff for so long, the values have gone up substantially, so I didn't have to pay that. And being a bit older now with adult money, I can put myself in a position to do those things. And I'd love for you to have the feeling of holding a special piece, so then in 20 years' time, you can then have that story of knowing the exact time, feeling, place, moment that you got your first Michael Jordan autograph piece or LeBron James autograph piece worth tens of thousands of dollars. And that's a story that you are going to be able to carry on and tell forever. So that's what I want to do. I want to create a platform where I can give away my collection, talk to people who are interested in that collection or collecting or memorabilia or sports cards, create a community, and put you in a position to have a moment yourself that you can tell for generations about holding your first important memorabilia piece to you, and get you in a position for a small price, a small fee, and give you the chance to win part of this collection. I would love for you to have that feeling, and just like the feeling I had when I was a kid, and holding important pieces or collecting my magazines. So there. If you're still here following along, let me know if you think it's a good idea to be able to put people in a position to give them a chance to take over some of my collection, or I may get in a position where I can buy new pieces and give them away as players become more important and modern players come through. And if you guys let me know in the comments what you'd like me to do, what players you'd like me to collect and give away, or what's the best way that we can create a business model where it works for everybody. Let me know in the comments. Keen to hear your story, and keen to know if there's other fellow NBA card collectors or NBA memorabilia collectors.